Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury, that's the Maltese Falcon, and this is...
Andy Mack.
And what is this, Andy Mack?
MPC Key 61.
Let's do it! Right. Tell me what you think this keyboard is, Andy, before I get too excited and speak all the time.
So this is really the first full-blown production synthesizer that allows you to create full-blown productions, amazing synthesizer engines, built-in full-blown MPC for all of your drum programming, sampling, powerful sequencer with incredible inputs and outputs. So, this really does take standalone production to a whole new level.
Not lying, from what I heard in the sound check. Just talk us through it, please. Where do you... Well, it's a big thing, MPC Key.
Yeah.
So the keyboard, and I know you had a lot to do with the design of this keyboard as well.
So basically, the MPC platform is so popular around the world. It's all about, beat making, sampling, chopping up stuff. But it's also got pretty much the most powerful sequencer that's been around for a long time. It's stood the test of time, and it's fast. It allows you to be so creative. So it made a lot of sense for us to take that workflow and build it into a production synthesizer that gives you all of the cutting edge sounds that you need for modern day music, through to all of your iconic sounds and classic pianos and Rhodes in a full blown synthesizer. And this is MPC Keys, and what it does, it gives you a whole new perspective of what is now capable without a DAW. We've worked extremely hard building out dedicated plug-in instruments inside MPC Keys, so you get that same experience and quality of what you would get in a DAW. And it's a whole new category for us to enter into the keyboard market with something that is far superior for finishing your music and making your music sound cutting edge.
I imagine there's going to be two types of customer that might be interested in this. People that already have MPCs and people who are looking at a fully featured, maybe workstation style keyboard. Let's start with the MPC customer. What do you see, if you were already an existing MPC owner, what can you see coming in with this product? Or what comes in the hardware that you think might appeal to them?
There's so many things that come into the hardware. The first aspect of this is you've got your MPC here, you've got a brand new touch strip, but then you can make your beats and then you start adding all of the musical elements around that. And the funny thing is, when you look at a lot of the MPC users, they're either using controller keyboards or breakout sound modules or sampling stuff, right? It was always there. It was always there. They always wanted that fully featured kind of production experience. And the first time I sat down with this, it literally took my breath away of having the fact that I can sit here playing beats, I can chop up samples, then I can add melodies and textures. But also, over the past kind of few years where we've been developing all of these updates with effects, you've got to remember that we've got everything here. We've got high quality studio effects. We've got all of the stuff like half speed that all of the current producers are using. Then we've got all of the vocal suite stuff in here as well. And then you've got all of the outputs. You've got CV gate for modular synthesizers, multi-MIDI, so you can connect up to 32 MIDI devices to this and bring them into the sequencer. 32. Right? Then USB, class compliant audio. So I could then get, like the Tascam, the Model 10, the Model 16, bring in all of my external keyboards or modules and use this as a full-blown sequencer hub. So the possibilities are endless.
I'm glad we spoke about the technical aspects of it first, because it really is so important and it's so new that way. Let's jump into using it, because I could talk about the technical aspects, but if someone wants to hear what this thing sounds like, let's go.
So one of the things we really wanted to accomplish was a seamless, effortless way to browse sounds, right? Because that's really what keyboards are about. First thing you want to do is find sounds because they inspire you, right? So we've worked extremely hard bringing you a whole range of brand new plugins, and one of the ones I'm going to talk to you about right now is called Fabric XL. So Fabric XL is really one of the hearts of MPC Keys, because it's a multi-sample based synthesizer that gives you instant gratification as soon as you start going into the sounds. So for instance, we can And already you're connected to the music, so you can think, okay, I want to do something with that idea. You know, recorded, just hold down the track button. Now I'm on my drums. You know, we're kind of that fast, so I can put that down as an idea. Next track. Now I'm back in my sounds page, so I can think, okay, go to leads. Yes! I'm not going through tracks, multiple menus or anything like that. I'm just seamlessly working through. But if I then want to go and look at my sequences, I can just go to my grid and then I can go and view all of my notes. So we can go into the touch screen here. I can see all of my notes. We can go and select all of these notes. We can move them off the grid, up and down, extend them, nudge them back and forth. So you've got that workflow that you're used to, especially from the MPC, because we've had these screens now and they are, you know, these are the most advanced screens that you can get on a product. You know, these are full high definition, multi-gesture, and we can zoom in, zoom out. And like I said, we can go in and do all of this fine-tune editing, pick up notes, move them. You can do absolutely everything, draw notes in. So we're very familiar with this type of workflow and this type of technology. So again, when you blend this in with MPC pads, all of the sampling, like we go into a track, we can go to say, let's take that sample there, go straight into sample edit, and now we're in our MPC world. So chop, can start chopping up samples. So now I've got my chops. And then you can turn that into a shift, convert, do it, and now I've got a new sequence here that we can go to, which will just be all of the chops. So you've got all of that classic workflow, but blended in with all of this sound content, different types of plug-in instruments. So it really does take the whole production aspect of using the keyboard to a whole new level.
It's really something to behold, to be in front of. And I understand that the component parts, I can imagine some people maybe leveling at the, oh, well, we can do this with the original MPC, we could attach a keyboard, we could attach these things. But there's something very special about, especially if you're a bit OCD like me and you hate cables, and anything that's slightly out of order may make you procrastinate from creating, right? I don't think a lot of people, if you're honest, and this is everything. This is a DA, I mean, Andy's stopping short of calling it, you're calling it a sequencer, but it's a DAW. It's...
Well, let me talk to that. So, you know...
That's my take on it.
Yeah, this is a production synthesizer. I think when you look at workstations, there's something, it's a very old terminology. You know, this is today's modern take on that, and this takes the whole aspect of workstations to a whole new extreme. And this is why this is for production. You know, it's for production, it's for live, it's for creating high quality productions, you know.
And the screen, hopefully we can get some shots that do this justice. Even just browsing the sounds, it really is a jump up, and that's where I think you've got every right to put yourself against all of the established old guard in this workstation category. just one thing, OS-wise, is it the same OS or do you have a special MPC?
No, this is the same OS. MPC Keys has some very exclusive plug-in instruments that are inside the keyboard. And again, Fabric XL, you've got Hype, OPX4, Tube Synth in there, but we've also got stage piano, stage EP, organ, studio strings, right? These are dedicated plugins, right? This is OPX4 is a dedicated FM synth, so 4 operators. So I can go into any of these synths, I could go, oh, okay, I want warm pads. So now I can go straight into warm pads and I'm there. Go to edit instrument. So now you see the 2 sample layers. I can bring up a percussive layer, right? And add just that little bite to the sound. We can go into all of our different layers. We've got different amps, filters, pitch, LFOs on both layers. But then we've got this thing called flavor. Flavor gives you that whole lo-fi, like modern sound that's going on, and you can add that to anything in here. So for instance, if I want to go to it, let's go to a Rhodes sound. So I go to Fabric, go to Electrics, and we'll go to Slinky Suitcase. So now if I go to edit instrument, I'm inside flavor, and I'll turn this off, and I'm also going to turn off the amp sim, right? So turn on flavor, add some flutter, some distortion, some noise. And if we just take that as an idea, so we're on 120. So then we go, hold down, drums. Touch effects, some turntable.
It's so good.
Lo-fi. Take the drums out. And again, you just keep building up, and it's so effortless because I'm just jumping between different types of sounds. Again, I can go to a new track, go to my plugins, go to sounds, and here we can go to OPX4. So now I can take OPX4. I've got all my categories. So we could go into pads, uni pads, touch effects. This, we could sit here all day just going through the patches. There's over 6,000 presets in here. And like I said, you've got everything you ever need from, like I said, FM synthesis. We can go straight back to our sounds page. We could go into pianos. Again, we could go back into Fabric, go to synth drone basses and but it was really important for us as well is to make sure that the sounds are modern as well.
And they sound great.
Yeah, modern.
There's something about a keyboard in the room when it kicks out of the D to A.
Yeah, exactly. So from our perspective, once you start adding all of the effects that are inside this, you've got all of these different levels of production, but it all starts with a sound. You create the sound, you've got all of the go-to patches, you've then got your drum layers, you've got all of the sampling capabilities. But like I said, you've also, different people still like to use external modules or whatever, and you've got the connectivity to do all that from the keyboard. So for me, this really is the pinnacle of where you could take your productions on a standalone platform with high quality plug-in instruments that are like plugins from a computer. Same with effects, all inside one self-contained keyboard.
I think it's a new bar has been set. We're going to film some other videos along those lines, ones with a lot more playing in, maybe some tutorials as well. Where can people learn more about, this is going to be on the day of release, but where can people learn more about
straight the akaipro.com website. We've got a full-blown masterclass that walks you through the whole process of making tracks from the ground upwards. We've got a whole MPC Academy series. We've got some MPC session keys with Mike Patrick as well. Whole bunch of content that really shows the dynamics of MPC keys.
Thanks so much for being around and watching. Thank you, Andy. Inspirational as always. Thanks for Falcon. See you soon.